Let's make abacha, the spicy, savory African salad that's perfectly chewy and bursting with rich palm oil flavor. This is one dish every foodie needs to taste at least once. Welcome back to my channel, Naked Fusion. Today we're bringing together tender cassava flakes, crunchy vegetables, smoked fish, and a palm oil base that ties it all into one unforgettable African salad, abacha. It's bold, it's spicy, and absolutely irresistible from the very first bite. As you can see, I'm already showing you ingredients that I'll be using for our abacha. If you want the full recipe, please do not hesitate to drop a comment in the comment section. So we'll be using some cassava flakes, we'll be using some dried prawns, we'll be using some fresh prawns, some cooked stockfish, utazi leaf, uba, onions, fresh pepper, some fried titus, some smoked banla fish, a blended crayfish, pomo, and yeah, I think that's basically it. And ehuru. We're using ehuru seeds as well. So and we'll be using ungo. So just stick around. I will be telling you as I'm adding these things. I will be telling you what I'm putting into the pot. Stick around and watch. It's a very rich abacha. Stick around and watch till the end because you'll be learning something. First thing, we need to soften our cassava flakes. Okay, this cassava has been shredded, and that the best way to describe it is calling it cassava flakes. So softening it by pouring room temperature water into this bowl, and then we'll just soften it, very lightly, yes, so that it's more pliable for us to use when we are cooking. So we're going to leave this for some time, and then after that you would strain out the water. You take out the water from the cassava flakes. So I'm setting that aside. Next thing I'm going to do while that is softening is to prep other things. So I'm going to season my fresh prawns, and I'm starting with coating it with olive oil. I like to do this because I feel it holds the salt and the pepper to it. So I'm just putting that with some soy sauce, and I'm adding some black pepper and some pink Himalayan salt. You can use your own normal salt or season your prawns as you like. You season to your own taste. Once we're done adding all our seasoning, we're going to massage that into the prawn. We're going to massage it gently into the prawn, and then we're also going to just cover this up and set that aside in the fridge for when we want to use it. This is just to keep it, let it marinate, let the ingredients marry themselves. Now we're going to take a pot that would contain your food. So into that pot I'm adding palm oil. Now abacha is made in different ways. Some people make the ingwo mix down and do everything in a bowl and mix that up and probably not heat it up, but I prefer this way of making abacha. But one has to be careful so that we do not overcook the cassava flakes. Yes, because of the heat and because of how tiny they are, they can quickly overcook. So into my palm oil I've added some rough blended fresh pepper and onions, and I'm going to allow that fry up for a bit. While that is happening in the video, I would want to still give more emphasis into the other process of making abacha. You would mix your ungo. It's a liquid from the back of the palm kernel that has been burned. There's a process to it, and you mix that with your palm oil, your crayfish, your seasoning cube. You mix everything, you get that base, and then you put your abacha in and your uba, and that's it. That's how that process works. Now I prefer this process because it's the frying method, and I literally would call this fried abacha. It's really nice. You should try it. So to my palm oil and my onions and pepper mix, I have added my dried prawns. As you can see, I'm adding my stockfish, and I'm going to mix this. Now these dried prawns and stockfish or whatever extra stuff I'm putting in here are optional. I just like to make sure that my abacha is very, very rich, like it has obstacles. That's how I like to have my abacha. But you don't have to. You can still do with just your blended crayfish powder, your palm oil, and everything, and just season it nicely. So I've added my fresh prawn that has marinated for some time, and I'm just going to allow that to cook along with these things. So you mix this up so that everything can fry evenly. Just mix this up properly, and then once you have mixed this up, you're going to start adding your seasoning and other ingredients. So if you have watched my uncover video, you will see how I toasted our Urubz seed, removed the seed and blended it. So if you don't know how to do that, please check my uncover video, because that's where you get that part. So I've added stock cube to this mix, and I'm just going to mix that in. Now you're going to gradually season this, because each level has more quantity than the other. So when you season, allow that to sit in first. When you add another ingredient, then you taste as you go and season to your own taste. So I've put some stock cube, and I'm going to allow this to fry up a little bit. Now I'm using medium heat at this point, and by the time I put the abacha in, I have to put it on very low heat, and the reason is because we do not want a mashed up abacha. So we are going to mix this evenly. Ensure that you're mixing your ingredients together so that they can evenly fry. To this, I'm going to add my crayfish powder. Yes, I had 2 crayfish there, the small crayfish, and then I used the head of the dried prawn. I blended them and I put them together. So I've added a bit of the crayfish, and I'm certain we'll be adding more as we go, so we'll taste as we go. So that I've taken my uba and I have added it at this point. Now I'm adding my ehuru, that's the ehuru powder, after it has been toasted and blended, and I'm adding it to this, and I'm just going to mix that up again together. Now the next thing I'll be adding is the ogiri. I just added a little bit. I don't know, I'm not the person who likes it overpowering my food, so I just add a little bit to it, and I'm just mashing that up so that it can dissolve into the abacha. You can see me turning down the heat. Temperature control is very, very important so that you do not burn your food. Burn your food. So make sure you control your gas. We fry this. We want it fried properly. We don't want it burnt. Yes. At this point, we'll be adding our cassava flakes. You can see how it's looking now. It's no more in the crunchy, dried state. It has been rehydrated. So we're going to add this, and then we're going to mix that up. Now, while you're mixing up, if the palm oil is not looking okay, this is the point to put more palm oil. So I'm mixing this up. If your seasoning is not okay, there's not enough salt, there's not enough pepper, this is the point to do a proper seasoning of your abacha. So you see how the abacha is, moving separately. It's not in the clog yet. Yes, if we overkeep this on fire, it will become a mash. So I'm just stirring that up to incorporate everything so that I can gauge if the palm oil is okay. If it's not okay, then I will begin to add. So I added more dried prawns to it. What's the point of leaving the leftover? Now I'll be adding my remaining crayfish powder, and then to that I'm going to be adding ungo. You would see what the liquid looks like here. I have sieved out the dark part. I'm just adding as little as that because I don't want so much of it. I could also skip this. Literally, it's a fried abacha. I don't even really need that. So I've added that, and I've added some more seasoning cube and more palm oil. can see very little palm oil. And I'm going to mix that up. You see our abacha is already cooking very quickly. If it stays too long, it can overcook. So ensure that your temperature, your stove temperature is being controlled and you are checking your abacha. Do not take your eyes off it. At this point, this abacha is ready to be eaten. It can be served like this. However, I decided to still taste and check, and I needed to add more seasoning. So that's me adding salt. I've added some salt. I needed some salt. After I've mixed in my salt, I added little water just to loosen it up. The water is very little. You don't have to at this point. You can serve like this, but I added little water to loosen this up. And then the final thing I usually will put at this point is some sliced onions. Yes, it won't stay long on the heat. Just put some sliced onions. Then mix that together, and that will be the end of our video. I literally almost threw half of my abacha this time from stirring. So that's it. It's ready to be served. So next thing, we're going to be moving to making our peppered pomo and peppered smoked banla. Into a pot, I'm adding some vegetable oil, and I already have pepper and onions that have been blended roughly with plenty of liquid. You can see that. That's fine. Just put that in and see how it is, and then we're going to allow this to fry. So now I'm going to transfer into this frying pan. I'm going to put in my fish. I've already washed my fish. I'm just going to put that in like that, and I'm going to pour that sauce over it and allow that to gradually absorb the pepper sauce. Now this is optional, you don't have to do this, but this is a bonus video for people who wants to do peppered sauce. Yeah, this is how I do it. To that pepper sauce, I'm certain I didn't show you. Of course, I added some seasoning. So I added some stock cube, I added some curry powder and some crayfish powder, and that's because I've added the crayfish powder because I am making a fishy pepper sauce. Yes, since I'm using it for fish, mainly for fish. So you can see I'm adding the stock of my pomo, and I'm going to pour that pepper sauce over this and allow that to absorb the pepper sauce. So that's it on peppered sauce, peppered pomo, and so you just allow that to cook. Let it absorb on low heat, not too much heat, very low heat. Allow that to absorb. Yeah, this is just optional. I've added some onions to it. It's optional. You don't have to do it, but it adds more flavor. So after this, we are going to prep our garnish for the abacha. So we'll be chopping up some onions, and I'm just going to cut them into round circles like that. Chop that up. Now I do enjoy abacha with enough onions. People who don't like onions, you can skip this. Adding some chopped peppers as well. I'm going to be chopping up some utazi leaf. You can see me doing that. You can also use garden egg leaves. Once you have your garnish ready, it was time to plate. So into our plate, I start off by putting my abacha. Some people would put everything together and mix all of them together, but I'd like to separate mine because some people may not like a particular garnish, and it will just be easier to avoid it as long as they are separated. It's not yet combined. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, like and share this video. Until next time, keep exploring. Bye.